Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports takes from around the country. Now, you're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of over there? Because over there, they don't care about you at all. They say this all the time. They don't read any of the comments. They talk down to us. They don't think we know at all what we are talking about. I mean, they make fun of us. They say we're just a bunch of clowns in the comment section, a bunch of clowns on Twitter and all that. I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing ever, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is amazing and awesome, then also please definitely let me know in the comments below. Either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and it's turning into something truly, truly special. I honestly see this channel just as much mine as it is yours. And so I want to build something that we can all be proud of, something that we really feel connected to, because I'm confident that you do not feel connected to the channels over there. I really don't believe so. And so I want to change that. I want this to be interactive. I want us to feel like we're really part of something bigger than ourselves. So please do consider subscribing. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of Undisputed talking about the whole Bills clinching the AFC East versus the Dolphins. I haven't watched this clip at all, so I don't know what they're gonna say. Today I'm going to be talking a lot about the Bills and Josh Allen and stuff like that, because I'm going to be doing all the other clips. If you're watching this clip within the first couple days of it being released, definitely please scan around the channel, because I'm going to be doing First Things First, Con Cowherd, First Take, and so it's going to be a lot of these common and interesting points. So let's get to it.
Last night, tell you about the Bills and about the Dolphins.
Well, listen, I looked at this game, and as I was watching, I saw this as a battle of Supermans. Tyreek Hill on one side is the Superman for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, they run everything through Tyreek Hill. And if somehow you can slow that down, you really put a dent in what Miami's trying to do. Yep. That's all Buffalo does. Buffalo says, let's focus on Tyreek Hill. But Tyreek had 13 targets. No Jalen Waddle. Nope. The next person had 3 targets.
Yep.
So the Superman wide receiver can't do it without any help. That Superman quarterback, he can do it without help. I mean, he gets the ball first, and he played.
So that highlights the imbalance of why quarterbacks get the MVPs all the time, because what he exactly just said, a quarterback can technically do it all by himself, right? Technically, a quarterback can score and get every single yard on offense, theoretically speaking. Not saying that that does happen, obviously, but a wide receiver is at the mercy of so many other things and can only have so much impact on a game. Josh Allen was clearly Superman in that game, and they asked him to be Superman every single game. And so, watching Josh Allen compete against the Dolphins, I mean, it just solidified so much of what we've been talking about on this channel, is that 1, Josh Allen is an MVP candidate. 2, Josh Allen is clearly a Pro Bowler. If Patrick Mahomes got the Pro Bowl nod and doesn't have the same amount of stats and is at a lower seed than Josh Allen, how does Josh Allen not have a Pro Bowl? And 3, this also says that the Dolphins are just not as good. Now, people want to say, well, the Dolphins were injured and this, that, and the third. That's true, but so were the Bills. At this point in the season, everyone's banged up. So the Bills, it's not like the Bills had this massive team and, that like they had the equivalent of who's their Tyreek Hill? I mean, please tell me, seriously, who is their equivalent of a Tyreek Hill? I know you're going to say Diggs, but they're not on the same level. I mean, come on. And also, Diggs is like angry and being all upset. Tyreek Hill has a big smile on his face. Tyreek Hill, you see him get walloped, and he has an ear-to-ear smile on his face. He's so much more pleasant in the locker room than Diggs ever will be. And that matters. That really matters.
Incredibly. Skip, you just talked about those interceptions or some of the plays he made. That throw down to the end zone. You said, what are you doing on 3rd and 2? It's bonehead play.
Bonehead.
But the interception is not that bad. It's an interception where you're getting the ball, giving the ball up, 95 yards away from the touchdown. So we count all interceptions, but some are more devastating than others. If you give that ball up and they only got 30 yards away to go for a touchdown, that's a different thing. 95, okay, that's like a turnover on downs, whatever. But so that don't not count. But Josh Allen played great football. He did everything he needed to do to win that game. And Erie, I'm telling you, as I watch games, I watch mannerisms. I like to watch what people say after the game because it kind of tells me your spirit and what was in your heart, you know, and even watching them. I watch him walk up to Diggs, and we've talked about what's going on with Diggs. He gave Diggs dap and turned away. It was almost like, this is my team, my unit, I'm running everything. That's what I sensed. I said, oh, after a victory like that, if Troy and I walked up to each other, we're going to be yelling all in each other's face. We're not going anywhere. Then we're going to talk about, man, there are many other things we could have gotten done. Boy, next week we're going to be doing these things. To see them do that and break away, I said, that's something. But I saw the power in Josh. Josh has taken over this team from coach, from players, from everybody. He doesn't care. That's why he threw that ball. And you didn't see not one person say, come on, man, think. All that's out. This is Josh.
See, and this is what I was talking about the other day. Exactly. You don't do that to your quarterback. If you don't remember, Josh Allen threw kind of an interception, or I forget exactly what happened, but Diggs went like this to hit Josh Allen to like use your head. And it's like, see, that's him thinking that he's like, you know, above him. And it's like, dude, Josh Allen is the man. Josh Allen is the leader. Josh Allen is the dog. No one's saying that to Mahomes. And Mahomes throws interceptions and turns the ball over plenty of times. No one's saying that to that. No one's doing that to Jalen Hurts. No one's doing that to Joe Burrow. No one's doing that to, you know, I don't know, Trevor Lawrence. Like even these other these lower level quarterbacks, Jordan Love, for instance. So that's like, and again, Irving is obviously an elite player and played with other elite players and obviously won. And he's even being like, you know, making, you know, throwing shade at that. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that. And so, you know, that controversy is definitely on Diggs and not about Josh Allen. You know, it's just disrespectful and it's not what you do to the clear leader of the team and the guy who has the most responsibility on his shoulders. Josh Allen has a lot of turnovers because he's asked to do the most out of any of these other quarterbacks. And so, especially some of these other turnovers that aren't even necessarily interceptions, it's because he's running for his life all the time and he's trying to just do anything he can to get the win. So you're going to have more turnovers. LeBron James, like, is like an all-time leader. I mean, I don't think it's at the very top, but it's like top 3 or something outrageous of turnovers. And no one thinks that LeBron James is careless with the ball. I mean, because he's also, you know, he's going to end up being the leader in every single statistical category, you know? So no one thinks that he's a bad passer. In fact, everyone says that he's a better passer than, like, you know, Magic Johnson and stuff like that. And yet it's just because the ball is in his hands so much more and he's asked to do so much more. So LeBron obviously is going to have more turnovers. That's the thing with Josh Allen and the Bills, is that he has more turnovers. Yes, because he has to change. You know, he definitely does make some mistakes, without a doubt. But also, he's asked to do so much. He's asked to win the game. And that's where you heard them talking about it in commentating yesterday, where, you know, they said that, you know, that when Brett Favre, they use the example of Brett Favre's game where he threw something like 6 interceptions or something, which is just like wild. And he said, like, Brett Favre just knew that the only way they were going to win the game is through him throwing it, and he had to just keep throwing it no matter what happened. And in a lot of ways, that's what the Bills keep putting Josh Allen in that situation. They don't put Josh Allen, you know, I think what you can really sum up more than anything is that the Bills do not put Josh Allen in a position to succeed. But Josh Allen does everything in his power to put the Bills in a position to succeed. And that's a huge difference, because 2022 Eagles, 2022, 2023 Eagles did everything to put Jalen Hurts in a position to succeed. The Patrick Mahomes' entire career, they put him in a position to succeed. Andy Reid, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, you know, all these other people. Joe Burrow, they put him in a position to succeed outside of having that terrible offensive line. And yet he was overcome that, which Joe Burrow deserves a lot of credit for that. Patrick Mahomes couldn't overcome it. Patrick Mahomes didn't have an offensive line, and he got ravaged in the Super Bowl. Ravaged against a 98-year-old quarterback of Tom Brady, okay? Ravaged. Joe Burrow almost won the Super Bowl with a terrible offensive line. So Joe Burrow gets my hat tip for that one. And so, that's a difference. There really is a difference.
Josh Allen, Superman's team, and he's playing like a Superman. I can't wait to see what happens throughout the playoffs if he continues to carry this kind of confidence and this is my team. I'm doing what I want to do. Skip, I thought he played a great game. The battle of the two Supermans, and the Superman that has the ball all the time in his hands every play, he won over the Superman that needs you to find ways to get him the ball, because that's all Buffalo's defense did was focus on Tyreek Hill, and nobody else could step up.
Go, Richard.
Yeah, I agree with some of that. I think those turnovers could have proved costly in a game, if you're playing a better team. Miami hasn't been great against teams with winning records all season. They've struggled in these games. They struggled against Buffalo earlier in the season. They played better this game, but I think those turnovers and those plays are going to be what keeps them from a Super Bowl. I think this has been a great story for Buffalo. They went from a fringe playoff team majority of the season. They were almost a 500 team at points of the season, to all the way to the number 2 seed in the AFC, which is impressive. And Josh Allen is a huge reason for that. He did throw for 359 yards. Only had 8 incompletions in the game, 2 of them being those interceptions in the end zone that took points off the board. But he did lead the team in rushing. So
one of those interceptions was essentially a punt. I mean, that was just like, I'm launching it up. And that interception actually did more harm. Technically the player should have not caught it. I get why he caught it, because one, he wants the interception because you just always want that interception. But it actually was more of like a net positive. Like, that was one of those things where it's like, this is just as good as a punt, as a punt. So I'm just launching it. So that's a little bit, misleading. I do agree though what he's saying about can be problematic in the playoffs. I do agree with that. I know I just went on a whole rant, praising Josh Allen. But this is why I say that they don't put Josh Allen in a position to succeed. And ultimately then they don't put the Bills in a position to succeed, because these turnovers and these issues, well, this is what I always say, your issues always come back to haunt you in the playoffs. You might be able to overcome them in the regular season, but the margins get smaller and smaller and smaller in the playoffs. And so the margin of error just obviously gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So you can't sweep that under the rug. And so, I don't know if you can do that against the Ravens or even the Chiefs, or gosh, I don't even know who's considered competitive anymore in the AFC right now, because for the longest time the Dolphins were seen as the number 2 team, wrongfully so. And in a lot of ways the Bills feel like the reverse of the Eagles, right? Because they're winning these tight games, or these games that feel that they could really go either way, right? Or they're winning where you're just like, well, what happens if the Dolphins did have Waddle? Or what happens if that interception, that one touchdown pass where it hits his helmet, that easily could have gone out of bounds, or that easily could have been another interception, and it just so happened that the ball bounced in the right direction, right? Which it just, you do that again, and that doesn't happen like that. So, and so they're winning a lot of these games that you're just like, ooh, they're just winning, or, oh, wow, they just got by, or they got a little lucky, or what about this, or what about that? And that's what was happening with the Eagles throughout the entire season. And then that kind of, the ball stopped bouncing in their favor, and now they're just, just losing. So that's kind of potentially where the Bills are at. And so I'm just already hearing that if the Bills end up losing in the playoffs, everyone will be like, I told you. I can already hear Nick Wright being like, this is what I've been saying. They're fool's gold, and I guarantee you that's what he's going to say, and I think there's technically a kernel of truth to that, but it's short-sighted, and it's not giving Josh Allen the flowers that he deserves, because they're in the situation that they're in. The success, put it this way, all the success that they're having is like 99% Josh Allen. And all of the issues that they're having is strictly the Bills, coaching, is the Bills probably personnel. But I put it more on the coaching than the personnel itself. So that's just the way I see it. So
again, he is doing everything he can to will this team and put them in position to be competitive and to be a playoff team. They have the number 2 seed, so they'll get at least 2 home playoff games, and I think they will be formidable. It's not easy to go to Buffalo at this time of the year and win ball games. So I'm impressed with what he's been able to do to will this team into the position they're in. But you gotta at some point, those plays like that are the reason Buffalo didn't have a Super Bowl ring, doesn't have a Super Bowl ring now, and if he doesn't correct those in these playoffs, they won't have a Super Bowl ring this year. But I think the same thing that makes you laugh makes you cry. He is the reason they're in this position. He's the reason they're the 2 seed. He's the Superman that Irv is saying he has been, and he played like that a lot of this last game.
Okay, I'm going to reiterate what I said Friday. Buffalo is just better than Miami. I know, Michael, you hung in.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think we have to keep rehashing that because to me, this is a very clear-cut game. Josh Allen proved that he is an elite quarterback and is able to do a lot with very little. And he's been able to do that more than any other quarterback this season, okay? He has an inferior coaching staff, had his offensive coordinator fired, has inferior offensive weapons, and yet he still led everyone to number 2 seed. What do you think Josh Allen would have done with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Mike McDaniel? What do you think Josh Allen would have done with Shanahan, having Christian McCaffrey and Debo and, again, the genius of Shanahan? What do you think Josh Allen would have done with the Eagles and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and, all that? I mean, so it's just, what do you think, he would do with the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, like, every team this year would essentially be better if with Josh Allen on their team, except for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, because I think Lamar Jackson obviously has done an unbelievable job. I think in a lot of ways they've had very similar seasons in a kind of direct/indirect way. But Lamar Jackson has the benefit of having an established, successful, an elite Super Bowl winning head coach. Now, granted, it is defensive head coach, but a very highly competent defensive head coach. One that's able to squash the high-powered, high-flying offense of the, 49ers. So, and that really matters. So I just think Josh Allen has really proved himself, so much. And I think the Dolphins proved they are who I've been saying they are for weeks now, that they've never beat anyone truly worth beating, that their only victory against a good team is against the Dallas Cowboys, and that was more about the Dallas Cowboys losing versus not. Now, I don't know if you guys know, is Waddle going to come back in the playoffs, or what's the story? Are they going to get healthier going into the playoffs? Because I really, really hope that the game is competitive against the Chiefs, and I would love to see the Dolphins beat the Chiefs. I mean, I feel like if the Dolphins can beat the Chiefs and the Chiefs get knocked out first round, I think we'll be saved from the million freaking commercials of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and this and that. And oh my God, can you imagine if we have to watch the whole playoffs with just, watching Taylor Swift dance every 5 seconds and hearing them talk about it? I just can't. I can't. It's ruining football for me. It really is. And I know it's ruining football for a lot of you guys as well. So I think we all need to unite and say, come on, Dolphins, please just knock out the Chiefs. I'm sick of seeing Patrick Mahomes' face. I'm sick of seeing Travis Kelce lift his sleeve up and smile for the vaccine or whatever, and all of that. And so and Taylor Swift, dancing. I'm just done. I'm over it. Please just end it. Just end it. So Dolphins, please get healthy. Tua, please show out and just score points, because if you score more than 21 points or something, the Chiefs are, lose. It's like a guarantee. So just score points. That's all you have to do against the Chiefs. But we'll make another video about that another time. But please let me know in the comments below, what do you think this game showed about Josh Allen and the Bills? What do you think this game showed about Tua and the Dolphins? Let me know in the comments below, and please do consider subscribing. As I've said, we are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps with visibility, and it really helps with the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.